It was very stressful and scary.
Inside this locked shed,
Heartbroken.
police found this mom's 13-year-old daughter, missing since March 1st.
Take a close look at this backyard. For 4 endless days, a Dallas mother searched for the sound of her daughter's voice. She prayed the next ring of her phone would be her child saying, "Mom, I'm okay." But the call came from 1,000 miles away, from officers who found what she'd been dreaming of and fearing most. A 13-year-old who vanished from her room, found in a place no parent could imagine. How did a friendship built inside a video game turn into a real-world nightmare? And what warning signs did we all miss? To understand how this story spiraled into heartbreak, we have to go back to who she was.
We're hopeful to see her again, and thank God that was the case.
She was a 13-year-old who loved pastel hoodies, late-night snacks, and texting her mom goodnight. Her world was small: school, family, a close group of online friends. But like most teens, the internet felt like a bigger home, one where she could be herself without judgment. Her mother says they talked often about online safety, about the risks, the strangers, the hidden intentions behind friendly usernames. She warned her, not everyone who sounds kind online means well. And for a while, it seemed those talks were enough. In early March, that conversation became more than a warning. It became their story. Because somewhere inside the glowing world of online games, a stranger found her. And what started as friendship became a quiet pull into something darker. Welcome to True Crime Story Videos. Every face you'll see here once had dreams, laughter, and people who loved them. But somewhere along the way, their stories went silent. I'm Detective Daniel, and here we give those stories a voice again. Before we begin, take a moment. Tell me your name and where you're watching from.
Hopeful to see her again, and thank God that was the case.
Like, that's where he stayed. Like, that was his place. Like,
We are hopeful to see her again. Those words carried the weight of every parent's fear and every investigator's urgency. Because in a world where every click connects us, it only takes one message to change everything.
Very stressful and scary.
It began on a perfectly ordinary Tuesday, the kind of afternoon every parent has lived 100 times. Her backpack was supposed to hit the floor by 4. The scent of dinner was already in the air. Everything about that day felt routine, until her screen went silent. Her online status went gray. No goodbye message, no trace. At first her mother thought it was nothing, a phone battery, a missed text, maybe she stopped for snacks with a friend. But as the hours passed, that small worry became a weight. The bus came, the clock turned 7, and the front door never opened. That night, officers canvassed the neighborhood. They found no struggle, no sign of escape. Her phone had stopped pinging hours earlier. Investigators followed her last digital footprints, a series of private messages with someone she called Jay. At first glance, it looked harmless. 2 gamers talking about school, music, and plans for the weekend. But hidden between the jokes and emojis were subtle shifts, signs that every expert now recognizes. What began as casual chat had quietly turned into control. Police would later learn that Jay wasn't a classmate. He wasn't 13. He was a 34-year-old man living alone in North Carolina, a stranger who'd spent weeks studying her routines, her moods, her trust. Experts say online grooming rarely begins with danger. It begins with interest. Games, music, compliments that make a young person feel seen. It's not sudden, it's calculated. Each message builds comfort. Each reply opens the door a little wider. By the time a parent notices distance, the emotional bond is already formed, not in person, but in pixels. For 2 days her phone remained dark. Then, nearly 1,000 miles away, a security camera captured a car that matched the one seen in her messages. From that moment, the search was no longer local, it was national. What began as a missing person report had turned into a race against time. She thought she was meeting a friend. Instead, she had stepped into a stranger's plan, one that investigators were only beginning to uncover. Within hours, the community mobilized. Flyers lined every stop sign. Strangers became search partners. Teachers, classmates, neighbors, all combing through fields and wooded trails, calling out her name. In a matter of days, what began as a local search had become a movement. Parents holding flashlights, praying out loud for a child most of them had never met. Mother's voice trembling. It's been stressful, scary, and heartbreaking. But we're not giving up. We just want her home. Every tip mattered. every sound in the woods, every shadow near the creek. Investigators checked them all. Police followed lead after lead, sightings, phone pings, rumors from social media. But each road circled back to the same question. The search that began on the ground now moved to the digital world, where words became evidence and trust became a clue. It was there in the glow of a computer screen that investigators would finally see the truth hidden in plain sight. Somewhere out there, a stranger was already on the move, and so was law enforcement. For the mother waiting at home, every phone call meant hope, but for detectives, the silence between those calls meant time was slipping away. In a world of open connections, her disappearance closed an entire community's sense of safety. And yet, somewhere far from home, her story was still unfolding. Detectives from Dallas worked side by side with the FBI's Violent Crimes Task Force. They were now following a trail made not of footprints, but of data. Their digital forensics unit traced a gaming account connected to the username J. One IP address kept appearing, miles away from Texas, Lexington, North Carolina. With each login, each message, the picture became clearer. The person behind J wasn't a classmate, not a teenager. It was a 34-year-old man named Jorge Ivan Santos Camacho. Public records, driver's license, vehicle registration, all connected him to a modest home at the edge of Davidson County. Within hours, law enforcement in Davidson County were knocking on his door. The property sat quiet, a small house tucked between trees, a shed behind it. Detectives circled the area. No movement, no sound, until one of them heard it, a faint noise behind the outbuilding. That door would reveal what the nation had been praying for, a child alive. Inside, silence, broken only by relief. For 4 days her mother had prayed for a miracle. On that night, somewhere between 2 states and 1,000 tears, that prayer was answered. It was the ending no one dared to hope for, and yet the beginning of a larger story. Because the same technology that connected her to danger was what ultimately led investigators to her door. In cases like this, investigators rely on what's known as digital triangulation. They match login data from gaming servers with GPS history, cell tower pings, and camera networks. Every click, every message, every route on a map, it all leaves a footprint. While the digital world hides faces, it never hides movement. It's this quiet, relentless coordination between agencies, between technology and human instinct, that turns invisible signals into life-saving leads. Officers escort the suspect in handcuffs as flashing lights illuminate the trees. The camera pans to the small shed once more, now sealed with police tape. The arrest brought answers, but it also brought questions that can't be solved with data. How does someone hide such intent behind a screen name? And how many more messages just like his are waiting to be discovered? As investigators examined the message history, a pattern began to emerge, one that experts recognized immediately. Classic online grooming. Compliments turned to emotional dependency. Friendly emojis became persuasion. He told her she was misunderstood, that he could help her escape stress. He said he cared about her more than anyone else did. And to a young mind seeking validation, those words didn't sound like manipulation. They sounded like comfort. Authorities say he persuaded her to leave her home, using trust as his ticket across state lines. He offered an escape from pressure, from rules, from the chaos of adolescence. But that escape was built on lies, designed to isolate, not to protect. For 4 days she was missing. For 4 days her family prayed for a miracle. And when officers opened that small outbuilding behind his home, they found it. She was physically safe, but emotionally, she was forever changed. The suspect was taken into custody without resistance, but the story didn't end with his arrest. The digital evidence told a much deeper truth, one about connection, vulnerability, and the predators that hide behind screens. In a world where friendship can be built through pixels, the line between safety and danger has never been thinner. Online grooming rarely feels dangerous at first. It feels like belonging. Predators mirror a child's interests, games, music, favorite shows, until trust is formed. Then, boundaries begin to shift. The conversations move to private channels. Compliments become dependence. Dependence becomes silence. By the time manipulation is clear, the emotional bond is already in place. For investigators, the evidence told a story of patience and precision, a calculated deception that began in pixels and ended in handcuffs. For parents, it was a lesson written in heartbreak, a reminder that the most dangerous conversations don't happen on the street, they happen online. She believed she was meeting a friend. What she met instead was a stranger who spoke the language of her loneliness. In the weeks that followed, experts dissected the case. They asked the question every parent dreads: could this have been prevented?
Some said yes, that stronger parental controls, stricter privacy filters, and platform accountability might have stopped it. Others pointed to something less technical, that the answer isn't control, but communication. Some argued for more digital monitoring. Others said education, not restriction, is the real key. Because filters can block a message, but only awareness can change behavior. And she's right. Awareness isn't paranoia, it's protection. It's the difference between silence and survival. Here's what investigators and family advocates now recommend for parents everywhere. 1. Review chat history weekly. Know who your child is talking to, and how long those conversations last. 2. Teach them never to share personal details online. Not their school, not their address, not even their city. 3. Use real-time location sharing within trusted family apps. It's not about spying, it's about safety. 4. Report suspicious behavior immediately. Don't wait for proof. Let the platforms and law enforcement investigate. These steps don't come from fear. They come from understanding, from stories like hers that remind us how fast trust can be misplaced. Because safety in the digital age isn't about removing technology, it's about reclaiming it. This case shook 2 states and opened a nationwide conversation, not about blame, but about awareness. And if it sparks even one more parent to ask, who are you talking to online? Then maybe, just maybe, it changed more than one life. She was found. But what about those who are still missing? For every child who comes home, there are others still lost in the noise of the internet, their names fading beneath new headlines. What happens when the line between gaming and grooming disappears? When trust becomes a tool and kindness a weapon? And what does it say about our digital world, where a single conversation can lead a child thousands of miles away? Investigators say this case will forever change how law enforcement tracks online luring, faster alerts, deeper cooperation between states, tighter digital tracing. But for one mother, change came too late. She still leaves the porch light on at night, not because her daughter is gone, but because she wants every parent watching to remember. Sometimes the smallest glow of awareness can light the path home for someone else's child. Justice may bring arrests, but awareness prevents the next tragedy. Tonight, this story ends with a child returned home, but thousands more families are still waiting for their ring of hope. If you're watching this right now, take a moment to check your child's phone, not to invade their privacy, but to protect their future. I'm Detective Daniel. Comment your name and where you're tuning in from, and share this story, because silence in cases like these is louder than words. Together we can make sure no family ever has to say, "We just hope to see her again."